happening. Our prime duty to welcome our respectable head of department, Dr. K.M. Kumaraguru sir, and I also welcome the part and parcels of the institution, the heads of various departments, and our teaching faculties to get benefited by gathering the valuable points to be shared by our dignitaries. I welcome one and all to this wonderful program for our career development.
Thank you, Subhashri. Now I invite N.A. Ridhanya Street of 3rd BCom to share biographical sketch of our esteemed chief guest.
Good afternoon to everyone. Education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think, Albert Einstein. It's pleasure for me to spell out your academical achievements more. Let me give a short biographical sketch of our today's resource person, Dr. N. MURUGESWARI ma'am. She pursued her BBA degree in Fatima College, Madurai, MCS, MPhil, and MBA in Alagappa University, MA in Mother Teresa Women's University, PGD, HRM in Alagappa University, PhD at University of Madras, MCom in Tamil Nadu Open University, and PGD PMIR in Alagappa University. She had 20 years of teaching experience and 18 years of research experience. She took administrative roles in various chapters. She has made research on the topics like gender and health, media, counseling and psychology, human resource management, women entrepreneurship, and so on. She was honored with Women's Education Achievers Award, Best Educationalist National Award, Kalvi Chudar Award, Empowered Women Award 2021, and so on. She has organized more than 50 events and took part in more than 200 workshops and participated more than 25 training programs. She is a life member in Indian Commerce Association and a life member in Indian Association for Women's Studies and a member in Madras Management Association and so on. She also took part in the editorial board of several journals. She had published more than 15 books from 2009 onwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Ridhanya. Education is the best friend. An educated person is respected everywhere. With great honor and pleasure, I would like to welcome today's research person, Dr. N. MURUGESWARI ma'am. Ma'am, the session is yours.
Thank you so much. At the outset, I must thank the principal and organizing team. Before that, I would like to record my sincere thanks to the correspondent, Thiru Palanichami sir, and the principal, Dr. Raman sir, and their entire team. Particularly, I want to thank Dr. Jayanti. And she's talking about the program from the beginning. And this is the right time to have the program, particularly gender sensitive monitoring and evaluation. Might be most of the people may be new of this term, but during Corona and the COVID and other kind of the pandemic definitely will ensure and talk about the new thing. I think this is the right time to know about what is gender sensitization, why gender equality is much important, particularly in higher educational institution. So in this way, the college is having the one-day faculty development program on gender sensitive monitoring and evaluation. So I thank all the faculty members, first of all, that you are listening about what is gender here. So we can't go straight away what is gender monitoring, evaluation, gender auditing and all. So what I feel that I can give overview about the gender, what is gender socialization process adopted in our society, and how the people normally internally or externally, they are internalized the views of the society. That is also is there. So I want to overview about what is gender or the understanding of gender and sex, particularly in the educational sector. especially in higher education. So here I want to highlight many of the people know the word about gender, right? So gender it is nothing but a socially constructed the definition for men and women, I could say. So it is not the same as sex, because sex is the biological characteristics of men and women, and it is not the same as women. But most of the people having some kind of confusion. Gender is same. Gender and sex is same concept. But actually, gender is determined the conception of the task or the functions or roles attributed to. Yeah.
105 மட்டும் தான் எங்களுக்கு 106 எங்களுக்கு இல்ல இந்த
Some voices are distracting.
105
The
மட்டும்
host can turn off their videos and audio.
106
Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now you may continue, ma'am. I mute all other participants.
Yeah, that is. So I can give you some of the example for gender is referring to someone who wears a dress as a female. And we call it as often the example for the masculine and the feminine, like in the masculine, we can say man, in the feminine word like women. Instead of that, we can use a gender neutral term. Instead of using man and a woman, we can use as a person. So instead of using father and mother, we can use gender neutral term like parent. So there are many examples of masculine and feminine in our society. And there are some roles and norms, particularly gender norms, also culturally specific, and that's very tremendously, not only in India, it is around the world. So the men and women differ like substantially from each other in the power or status and freedom. And you know that very well that men have more power than women in all society and all spheres. For example, with regard to social norms regarding the public behavior, we can shake our hands when we meet someone, or we say please when asking for something and say thank you when someone does something for you. So this is the social norms with regard to public behavior. Or I can say some more example like while using the cell phone, say hello when answering, or we can say goodbye before you hang up, or put our phone on silent if we are in a meeting or in the public setting where the phones are not to be used. So very, very small thing or social norms we learned from different places. Even there are some social norms even in the workplace. So that is be on time and follow the schedule that what we are given, or keep a positive attitude that do not engage in gossips at workplace. So other than that, there are some gender specific social norms also adopted in our society that there are certain norms expected. I think Madam Jayanti is available here. Dr. Jayanti
Yes,
is there?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Yeah, one more PPT I sent to your mail. If possible, you can
Yes, ma'am.
share this.
Yes, ma'am.
That will be good for the participant, I
Sure,
believe.
ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Because all norms I have included in that PPT.
Okay.
Yeah. So before that, I can continue.
Yes,
So many of the gender norms and the stereotypes also be considered like in the discriminatory way. Like I can give you some of the example for gender specific norms. So again, I'm repeating that you please understand the difference between gender and sex, because that the new PPT will explain what is gender and what is sex. And we have the norms about the overview of gender specific norms, what we follow still in our society. So we have it in our mindset about the way of wearing dress code or dresses about girls and boys. So what we think that girls wear pink dress and boys wear blue, that we are accepting, and often the people will take pink color for girls. And we are thinking in our mind that like men should be strong and they should not show their emotion. And the women should be caring and nurturing. And automatically we accept that men should do all kinds of repairs at the housework, and they can do other kind of work outside. Even we go outside, the man should pay for the women's meal when going out to the dinner or something like that. But we can say that there are some social changes happen in our society. Still, we are talking about the disparity and the gender norms influencing society. But it is not so. The 100% people are not taking gender sensitivity in their mind. Even they have some kind of differences in the social norms. So we have to keep it in our mind that these are the examples or the social norms, not only in Western society. So it does also happens in our society still. And these norms vary between countries to countries, or from class to class, or from social group to another social group. So each group can share the many of the same social norms, or the group may have the few special norms. So as we move from one country to another country, or one group to another group, or from one place to another place, it is up to us to know and they implement the appropriate social norms, what is happening in our society. Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, this is the society. So society called us, it is nothing but the people, father, mother, and we have direct and the indirect relationship with the other people in our society. So you go to the next slide, madam. Yeah, so this is what I was giving the explanation about sex. So this is purely indicates the characteristics or biological determination about men and women. And we should understand that this is totally different from sex, because the sex means we can identify the person or born whether male or female. Apart from that, we have the biological differences between men and women are identified at birth. So except that, other things and all identified and constructed by the society exclusively for women. So there are norms also prescribed by the society exclusively for women that also implemented in the society still. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, this is a gender. So this is gender means like it indicates the characteristics and the positions and roles, the social norms, or what work the male has to do, what work the women has to work, what are the household work, especially for the women. Still the person, particularly women, is taking multi-role responsibility at home, workplace. Other than that, she is taking much responsibility, like in the top level position, or women who has the leadership position in the organization or corporate sector. So, so these are the norms and the characteristics and the positions and other roles already prescribed in the society exclusively, that is separately for men and women. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, this is the difference between sex and gender, what I have explained now. Yeah, next one, ma'am. Yeah, this is the exercise. I think you can read this now. Now you can answer yourself, or if possible, anyone can answer for this statement. Men do not need tenderness and are less sensitive than women. So this is the statement I have given in the PPT. So now you can raise your voice whether the statement talks about gender or sex. Men do not need tenderness and are less sensitive than women.
Ma'am, sorry, participants cannot able to unmute, ma'am, because some noises
Okay.
are so I make
Okay,
all.
formally you have muted everyone. Okay. So this is purely gender. So anyone can have the tenderness or the spirit or the talent. And the most drivers in India are men. This is also purely gender. And women give birth to babies, men don't. Is it purely sex or gender means? You can say sex. Because the women only can give birth to babies, not men, right? So that is the biological determination. The next thing is care of babies is the responsibility of women.
Madam, excuse me, madam. You have mentioned women are scared of working outside their homes at night. I think nowadays it has been changed. I hope you will agree with us.
Not in all the fields, sir, because some of the field even the women are not having 100% security because here
Security is
in
different,
your field
but
and in our mindset,
they
yeah,
have the
in our
courage to work
mindset,
at night also.
yeah, that
I'm
is
not
there, but
denying it's
in our
general only. Nowadays, all sorts of work they are doing. That's what I want. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
yeah. So I want to add some more point. What we are the having the information from different sectors, the people are affecting those who are working at night. But some of the issues are not invisible, sir. So
Sure,
the thing
madam.
is that
You are
the
right.
educational institution and other formal sector people are working in a very safe manner. So I'm not telling that only the higher education institution or any sectors. Some of the informal sectors, even there are some formal sectors also are not giving 100% assurance for the women's safety, I could say that. So apart from that, every woman also must be brave to face all kinds of issues. So it is not the blame or it is not the issue that the employer they need some kind of what is that leisure time or something like that. So I accept that because the women are moving from one place to another place, they have mobility process and they have equal rights and everything, but it is not fulfilled 100%. That is what. Uh, so as a people of women studies, that we have to see that everyone must enjoy all kinds of rights in different spheres. And yeah, of course, other than two statements, everything talks about gender. The care of babies is the responsible or responsibility of women. So of course, this is purely gender. So both father and mother has to take care of babies. That is their responsibility. And only women can breastfeed babies. This is of course a sex. And now one professor was talking about the women are scared of working outside their homes at night. Yeah. Then men's voices break at puberty, women's don't. This is purely sex. Women are emotional and men are rational. Anyone can reflect for this. Is it true that women can or women are emotionally and men are rational? So this is absolutely wrong. That we have internalized that women are emotional and they are physically and psychologically weak than men and all. It is not so and all. And the most of the women have long hair and men have short hair. And we have decided the attitudes and characteristics of men and women, that is called gender. And most scientists are men. This gender, this is not a sex, absolutely this is sex. No, sorry, gender. Yeah, next slide. So this is what I was telling, the gender role, how the society constructed the gender role for women. So still there are number of families getting help from their husband or the siblings or some person, but it is not so all kind of the family. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, always a women has a different role, because I was telling you, no, because in our gender role, that means how we are expected to act or speak or dress, or how to conduct ourselves based upon our assigned sex. Or for example, the girls and the women are generally expected to dress in typically feminine that ways and be polite, accommodating and nurturing. So their identity will be totally like self-identified by everyone. That is the result of the combination of the inherent and environmental factors. On the other hand, like it is manifested within the society, that is by observable factors such as behavior and appearance. And in our society, even most of the society thinks that there are only two genders, that people identify with either male or female. But this belief is called like a gender binary. So apart from that, there are a lot of genders is there, like lesbian, gay, queer, transgender, etc. So the most of the societies also have expectations and stereotypes about how gender based or someone assigned sex, because like expecting males to be tough and females to be gentle. So these gender expectation can affect a person's social work, the legal rights also. So we should understand that gender identity is totally rethink about like it is how we experience our own gender despite what society expect. So our gender can be shown through our identity, like the body image or expression or the appearance. So what I feel that that we need more gender sensitization. Like the people are becoming more sensitized to the danger threatening or environment, and to make something to be sensitive to physical or some kind of changes. And here I'm telling you that because we know that gender is a neutral term, neither good or nor bad or right or wrong for someone. So the word gender has become like associated with women's issues and the women's programs, feminist. For some, like a gender has become a negative word that connotes the exclusion of men. So in that connotes exclusion or of men. In fact, gender refers to both males and females. Term gender is widely used, its meaning not fully understood still. So what I feel that through this forum, that it is our duty as a teacher or the higher educational institution that we work. So we are very much connected with the students. We have to raise awareness, and the sensitivity is the act of being sensitive to the ways people think about gender. And apart from that, there are some gender concept also is there, but our concept is totally, we are going to talk about the gender monitoring evaluation with regard to gender auditing. But before that, you must understand what are the gender concept. So without knowing the gender concept, even the committee, the gender auditing will not be fulfilled in a very good manner. So you can understand about the gender analysis. Gender analysis, it is nothing but describes the existing gender relation in a particular environment, like ranging from with households or firms or companies to a larger scale of community, like ethnic group or nation and all. Or I can say you that it is a systematic way, the information about gender relations, to make clear the importance of the gender differences for achieving the development objectives. This will come after the gender equity and the gender equality, if the institution maintain in a correct manner, it is very easy to analyze the data and sex disaggregated data, particularly in the qualitative and quantitative information. And we should avoid all kind of gender discriminative words or actions, not only in the activities or physically or mentally, whatever it is, particularly in the higher educational system. Like we can add some more points in the curriculum structure, particularly in the syllabus. So I can say the correct meaning for gender discrimination is like any exclusion or any distinction or any restrictions that is made on the basis of the sex, that is which has the effect or purpose of the impairing the recognition or the enjoyment or exercise by women, irrespective of their marital status or equality of men and women, or human rights and fundamental freedoms also in the political, economic, social, or cultural, or civil, or any other field. And here we should talk about the gender equality and equity. I think we can run through some of the pictures, madam. So one picture talks about the gender equity and equality, because we have to.
Ma'am, shall I move the slide, ma'am?
Yeah. One picture talks about, because time is very short. Yeah, you move, madam. Because I need some time to talk about evaluation and monitoring. Yeah, this is definitely, you can use this slide for the gender sensitization program in your institution. Yeah, this is socialization process.
Shall we stop, ma'am, or let me to move?
And before that, you could see this. It is not that. Okay. Okay, just you check it over it, because I will show it in the separate picture is that. I think probably, no, I think it will be in the beginning, I believe. But anyway, I don't want to waste the time. So gender equity and equality, but often the people are having some kind of confusion that about gender equity and equality. Anyone can reflect or can say you the meaning of a gender equity and the equality? Because often we are talking about equality and equity, right? So equality, it is nothing but the condition or state that affords men and women are equal, or their enjoyment of human rights or socially valued goods, opportunities, and other kinds of resources, what is available in the society. So this is the equal opportunities given to men and women is called gender equality. So gender equity means it refers to the fairness of treatment for men and women according to their respective needs. So that is what I was thinking, that the picture will be described in a correct manner. Ma'am, you can try the previous slides, madam. So the gender equity may include the equal treatment or the treatment that is different but considered equivalent in terms of rights, benefits, or obligations and opportunities. Suppose the person who needs the opportunities or benefits, or they need some kind of information to fulfill his or her goal. So it is our duty that we have to accomplish or assist them to fulfill their needs. It's called equity. But equity means it is totally talks about the equal treatment or equal enjoyment about human rights and other kinds of rights. So without fulfilling the gender equity, we can't move to gender equality. So first we have to identify the needs and wants of people with a different sector. And it is our duty that we have to fill the gender gap. Gender gap means it is nothing but like the disproportionate differences between men and women or boys and girls. Particularly, this is reflected in the attainment of like goals or different levels of participation in the local level or middle level or in the top level. So here, gender gap indicates that gender inequality. We can say that most of the women are placed in different sector, and except formal sector, other sectors, the female earning and their income is low than men. So it is not says that the women participation, particularly in the labor force, more than 90% of the women are involved in labor force, but their income level comparing to men, less than 60% all over total production. So where is the gender equality here? So again, it shows that there is some gender gap. That we must avoid. Unless otherwise to maintain gender equality or gender equity or the gender integration, we can't go for gender mainstreaming. So now I'm coming to the point that um, gender integration. So this is the first step or the primary step for the gender sensitive monitoring and evaluation, particularly in higher educational institutions. So gender integration means it is like the strategies applied in the program or design the program or implementation or the evaluation to take the gender norms into the account, particularly gender-based inequalities. So it is very important that we have to concentrate like every employer and every person and every individual must take care of the institution or individual mental health and physical health also to sustain all kinds of gender issues. Now, I was telling you that the gender equity and gender equality and other thing. Madam, you can show that the second slide about gender monitoring and evaluation. And next PPT, madam, not this one.
Oh, I want to share the previous.
Yeah. So what I want to explain in a brief manner that so before going for the gender sensitive monitoring and evaluation, planning, the second slide. So planning is a very important task to enable us to decide in advance, like what we should do, the changes in a problematic situation or challenging situation in our institution. And sometimes we can go for modify if it is unsatisfactory situations, or we can keep a given situation from worsening, then we can start go for planning, or the group should identify the vision or the target to achieve our goal. So during the planning process, so we can able to enable us to achieve some of the strategies that we have to determine the present and the future problems about our institution that will impair us from reaching, already I said you, that vision of the particular institution. And in the planning, we have to consider and give prioritize for the problem oriented thing. And we have to concentrate to determine the intervention of these strategies. And the employer as well as the employee must think to identify the specific action to be undertaken. Particularly in the higher educational institution, not only the framing of the syllabus or taking the classes, the way in which the delivering the message or materials, particularly during Corona, learned a lot of information and given a lot of information how to use online classes and delivering the message This is also one kind of challenges, not only for the teachers as well as the students. So during that situation, every teacher, every institution has taken some kind of specific action to identify the needs and wants of the students and the welfare of the students. And apart from that, there is some gender related impact and the constraints with regard to the activities and the results expected by the students and the employer. So gender friendly environment here, the gender friendly environment is very much needed to overcome all the constraints. And we have to point out the people who will bear any responsibility, or as well as the whatever the coordination or partnership required to complete the task in the higher education institution. And as an employer, their duty, and they have to concentrate to determine the monitoring and evaluation procedure in order to learn whether the result obtained or that result and the marks with match with the results or expected from the student level or from the teacher level. So this general satisfaction is derived when the institutions taken some kind of project or work that have adequately established their plans, including the impact and effect and the results corresponding to each plan level. That is what here I have explained the three types of plan, like the lower level, middle level, and the top level. Yeah, next slide, please. So now the monitoring, this is also very important process, and this is the continuous and systematic process to measure the progress and changes resulting from the implementation of a set of activities. That is, this is also one kind of mechanism that is defined to follow up the actions and verify the extent of compliance with the proposed goals. And you know that I think most of the professors would be attend this meeting, and you are aware about the monitoring system. So this will be differ from unit to unit, center to center, department to department, but everybody is having some kind of technique to evaluate or monitor or the maintain innovation or to bring good result and all those things. So here the monitoring makes an in-depth analysis like regarding the reasons behind the failures in order to find like a corrective alternatives. So here every teacher and every coordinator, every responsible person is taking much advantage, effort, and they have stresses the positive aspect also. Informs about the achievements, thereby like enabling the replication of successful practices and revision of wrong practices. So consequently, like monitoring a system designed to accompany the implementation process for the purpose of pointing out the level of achievement, like from the standpoint of goal compliance. Or any kind of project, not only for the higher education, I'm telling, this is also applies for informal sector and non-government organization, and also other the short-term running business or whatever it is. They have to find out their goal based on that, they have to go for that. Yeah, next thing, next slide. Yeah. So this is like efficiency, that efficiency is a concept that is used for the relationship between the work planned and the work executed. So taking into consideration like the factors related to time or the investment and the staff, and what are the resources may be taken for the planning and execution. So this is refers to our ability, our staff ability to carry out the work. So that is also very important to bring the sensitive monitoring and evaluation system. And this efficiency concept also that has been traditionally related to the productivity only, that is making reference to the average physical yield or investment on resources, or sometimes the average cost of an activity, something like that. So in general terms, like efficiency is like measured on the short-term operating plan. I can say that monthly or quarterly, for example. So that may be prepared to comply with the project specific objectives or with the goal specific objectives. So here we should bear in our mind that the fact that for the equity achievement purposes, we have to work to bring more resources based on the budget. And so one of the very important point I want to highlight here, that every application, every project, every work to be worked in a gender-based approach to their work. So again, we are keeping in our mind that we are involving and we have taken more women to work in different levels, both in the teaching or administrative work or something like that. But however, how the efficiency should also take into the account for a long-term benefits or long-term action or long-term work. That is very important here. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, this is an evaluation. So evaluation means, that this is like a stimulate, the appreciate or the calculate the value of something. Or as an institutional mechanism in higher educational institution, it is a continuous research and analysis process that regarding the somewhat the permanent changes taking place on a medium or on a long-term basis. Because as a direction given by UGC that we are working, and they have changing the planning methods, steps to give the report with regard to internal quality assurance cell and AQAC. There are a number of report formats we are getting from state level as well as central level. So the process, this process entails analysis involving the improvements achieved not only by the individual, of course, it is as well as the operation and outcome of the organization or the institution or any kind of sectors. So simply I can say you that the evaluation is connected with the impact of our work. Yeah, next. Next slide, please, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, audible, ma'am.
Yeah, please move to next slide, ma'am. Madam, you can move next slide.
Yes, ma'am. 1 minute.
Yeah, this is very important point, like effectiveness. So effectiveness also, it is refers to the strengths of the group or a strength of the faculty or a teaching community or non-teaching community or the whole people, those who are all in non-teaching, teaching and administrative role to accomplish an objective. So again, it refers to our capacity to transform in its reality. So through the effectiveness, we are able to learn about the extent to which we are approaching the target of the institutional vision. So for that, we are working and we are promoting so many innovations and inventions in the teaching, research, extension, because we should work and we are concentrating all the 6 concepts of what UGC prescribed for the higher educational institution, like teaching, research, extension, advocacy, documentation, and networking. So these are the very important factors we have to be considered that we have to move to next level. So in that way, the institutions or any government organizations or a non-formal sector, whoever may be, so generally these people incorporate these purposes and they have to take it in their mind, like outline for their program or for the project. They have to work based on the guidelines given by the UGC, particularly I'm saying for higher education institution. Because for instance, I can say you that to improve the quality of the project or particular program, or we have to create an awareness like now we are talking about organic method, organic for agricultural production or something like that. So this maybe will help to achieve of these objectives what entails taking action that need to be estimated at like both qualitative and quantitative levels. So now everybody is expecting that they need or they want to see the result in a quantitative and qualitative manner, particularly in a research perspective. So here the effectiveness indicates that the strength of our actions or program or ability to influence the reality in accordance with our intentions and expectations. With our expectations or intention means, again, I'm talking about the students community and the faculty. Yeah, next slide, please. So performance. This is very important in what way we are going to perform. Because what may be the effect or what is the effect or what do you deal with the product of the particular company or what do you deal with the particular work of the institution. So that is also very important to prove ourselves through performance, because the differences between monitoring and evaluation is like based on the mechanism what we used, what are the objectives we proposed at the time of the initial planning. So this is a totally the entails a series of steps taken for the evaluation process, and this may take place on a daily basis that we have to generate data, and this will be used at the planned evaluation in future. So in each and every activities we have to perform in a very good manner, and it is very important thing that the role of monitoring and evaluation is the tool for the institutional strengthening. If it is good, the performance also will be good. So the design of the implementation of a monitoring and evaluation system assumes that the institution decide upon the promoting a sustainable and equitable human development. Like what is their expectation, and what are the exert influence on the condition and other development process, and what are the purpose of broadening the proposals the higher education institution is undertaking, particularly in the college level or in the university level. So these actions required some kind of strong basis, and they should be, by strong means I do not mean the amount of resources possessed. Apart from that, the building, the number of people hired, maybe permanent or guest faculty, something like that. So the institutional strength also we must refer to, or the ability to identify like the mission or maintain a permanent process for reflection and personal growth. Now, particularly they contribute to the achievement of the proposed activities or changes or goals. So what I'm trying to say in this, the institutional development is not a purpose by itself. So it means that too, which it is possible to work effectively and efficiently to ensure the impact like expected on the people, and means as a result of the program intervention or course intervention or something like that. So at most in this effect, the monitoring evaluation system talks about and reflects about the performance is the utmost importance in any kind of institution, not only in higher education, even formal and informal sector. Next slide, madam. Next slide, please. So these are the process the institution can be maintained or they can follow to increase the institutional capacity. The employer as well as the employee can take, or they have to improve their teamwork and the communication. Automatically, this will increase our institutional capacity. And we have to establish or consolidate the basis for the program or project that to be planned at a later. So every faculty member can involve yourself to write the research proposal. There are a number of funding agencies are available, not only in the state level, even in the central level. There are a lot of agencies are available. Every faculty members from different discipline, you can write a need-based or issue-based proposal that is most welcome from the institution, particularly funding agencies. So in this forum, I'm requesting all the faculty members, those who are all from different discipline, not only from Pungo Arts College, even like NGOs and other trusts, even they can apply for the minor project and a major project. So this project and the research only will inculcate the changes and what kind of expectations, what we are expecting from the society through research we can implement in future. So my humble request is everyone can concentrate to get some kind of minor or major projects. And we have to enable the adjustment to ensure the compliance with the institutional mission. Yes, of course. So we are working, we will work for the mission or the vision of the institution wherever we work. So we are not deviating and we are not having any distraction, whether this is a self-financing college or a government college or aided college or something like that. We people are working purely for the institutional mission that should be there to increase institutional capacity. Then we have to inform the interested people, those who are all having the knowledge or interest to be in the management line or financial organization. Even they can participate in different groups. So we can explain and we should understand the status about the program. Again, here monitoring and evaluation process is coming. And improve the existing conditions of the institution, or some kind of projects may be taken from the corporate sector or companies. And we have to promote the work efficiency and effectiveness. That is also must be there. And definitely, if we follow the institutional operations, definitely this will improve the institutional ability, skill, and other thing. And we have to provide the guidance to improving the relationship between genders. Again, I'm saying this. Every institution or the company or corporate sector can create a gender sensitivity training and awareness among the faculty members, staff, even the students community also. Now, most of the institutions are having knowledge and they are aware about the gender sensitization. And these institutions are very much involved in women's studies department. They are expecting some kind of knowledge about the gender. Not only they are not calling us for the gender sensitivity program, even most of the policy making committees recognizing women should be there. Not only the participation of women in different committees, and some of the important policies also recognized, and the informations and the input also receiving from women community, particularly one who is working for the women welfare. And it is our duty that we have to highlight the possible deficiency or errors that we have to eradicate and correct, because timely correction is very important to prevent any kind of issues. And we have to highlight the impact on women and men of different ages. So ages means here I'm not saying only the age group. Again, I'm coming to the point that gender sensitivity, why gender sensitivity is very much needed. Today is the program about gender sensitivity monitoring and evaluation. But I have received a call from Dr. Jayanti, but I was expecting any one male member has to involve in this program. So mostly gender or women studies or gender studies or anybody is talking about gender means that this is not purely or exclusively for women. So that kind of understanding must be taken from the teaching community, as well as then only the student can follow from the teachers. So every teacher has to learn daily, not only about the gender, how our society influence some kind of norms, and knowingly or unknowingly we are internalized. So there are some visible factors we can identify. There are some, not only some, there are more invisible factors affecting women community, particularly girls. There are a lot of examples you could say nowadays. There are so many incidents happens. So we are responsible for that. We can't quit or we can't move or we can't escape from this. So it is our responsibility. That is these issues happening in our society. We are responsible for that. And we have to raise question ourselves. Who is responsible for this? Who framed all the structure and the system in the society? So as an individual or the faculty of the particular department, what is my role here? So as a faculty, it is our duty, it is my role. Through my research, I can explore about the issues. So we have to understand the concept and where we are, why we are. These questions are rising before us as a faculty member of higher education institution, that we have to see all kinds of issues happening in our society. And definitely our institution has to possess and increase all kinds of the gender-based and gender sensitive environment will give more positive result, more energy and the strength. And we can contribute ourselves, what I was telling, through research or through documentation. This may be disseminated in different levels, like teaching, research, networking, extension activities. Through skill-oriented program also you can disseminate something. Through documentation, you can disseminate something like that. So we can contribute ourselves in different level to prove as a teacher, because a teacher is a very big mentor to the student. So every teacher has to act as a mentor, not only to the student community, even we have some responsibility to see the community also. Yeah, next slide, please. So here, what is the role of the monitoring and evaluation system, particularly in the institution? Again, I'm repeating here that there are new development agendas acknowledge about gender equity and democracy. That is, they are saying that it is essential elements to reach sustainability. Even I accept that, because this includes the adequately addressing their women and men who are the players in the development process, and avoiding unbalances regarding the benefits obtained by both the gender. So to achieve the above and they maximize the participation of men and women as a players in the institution, or we are all the participants. So a clear understanding it we must exit the regarding the predominant gender role within the context of our institutional setup or system. So even there are some organizations and institutions throughout their region or nations, they have taken much effort made into integrate the gender equity perspective. Even though there is some lacking, we could identify from monitoring and evaluation system to guide the equity building process and all. So it is our duty that the results and activities or some indicators, which are the points, the reference for monitoring and evaluation, that must be formulated by sex in order to ensure that the participation of women and men will depend not only in the team's awareness or teamwork, but also that institutional approach will be integrated into the objectives and the plans of the institution. And next slide, you can move, madam. So what I feel that, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So what I feel that gender sensitive teaching is very much important nowadays. Because this gender sensitive teaching only aims at supporting equally the learning of female and male students. Because the fact that there are many female as male students in higher education does not make the university teaching automatically like the gender sensitive. Because there are many research rather shows that there is a hidden curriculum which transmit unconsciously and implicitly a gender bias. I think you will agree. So in particular, that prevailing like gender stereotype perceptions and expectations with regard to women and men have an impact on students' attitude towards the learning and engagement with the subject, as well as their academic achievement also. So therefore, what I feel that we have to consider and recognize the impact of gender aspects in interaction between the teaching staff and students, as well as among the students and in teaching content and materials. And of course, I agree that because during COVID, we have taken much challenge to prove the teaching as well as the students community. Side by side, the parents also facing some kind of issues still. But even though there is some responsibility as a faculty member or the teaching staff in the higher educational institution. So before us, there are questions raised like where we are and how to bring all the changes. Because as a higher educational faculty members or the employer as well as the employee must concentrate that we have to bring gender mainstreaming environment in higher educational institution. Because the gender mainstreaming means I am pointing out here why gender sensitivity or gender mainstreaming component must be addressed here means, for example, gender sensitive content we can include in this subject. There is some specific content can be included in your subject, like in a gender equality or gender perspective. Because this can mean like engaging the explicitly with unequal power relations between women and men. And also the students can understand about the what is gender, what is sex, what are the gender and gender inequalities arising in our society. And it is also easy and they can able to understand about the intersectional perspective by including other grounds of diversity. For example, age or disability or ethnicity or something like that. Okay, how to bring this gender mainstreaming? We can adopt a gender sensitive pedagogy. It entails thinking about how to embed gender in different modalities of teaching or learning mechanism that we can bring or we can try for that. Because these the pedagogical concerns related gender equality needs to address the gender bias both in the knowledge or in the attitudes of educators or in their teaching practice. So what I feel that from my experience that I know that even there are many teachers are not aware of what is gender sensitization. Even though they are aware of gender sensitivity or they know about gender gap, gender discrimination due to social status, ego, there is some social stigma. They are again refusing them to, they are not able to come out. Even there are many employees, I can point it from different sectors. There are women are not coming out, they are not putting their complaint into the police station or somewhere else. Why? Because they are all in a top level position and there is some social stigma again compressing or pressurizing them. That is the reason they are not able to apply in the reality. So we can talk, there are some laws and the rules is there, implementation is there, amendment is there, favorism is there, but it is not purely in the practice. So when we are talking about the theory, it will be in the form of practice. Definitely we can bring our society in a gender neutral society. So I'm not blaming only male. See, this is the responsibility for male and female. So every human being must take a part. They have to work to bring the gender equality in our society. Because Periyar was there. He was a wonderful feminist. Than Periyar, nobody will talk about rights and the equality about men. Otherwise, even I can't imagine that whether I'll be sitting here or many women are taking many leadership role. So there are some feminists that they are thinking about the perception or the views from the women, women's mind, women's sense, or the people are not having consciousness about what is actually feminism. So don't think about that we are talking about only for the women's favor or women's rights or something like that. So there is some invisible barriers also affecting men or children, even so many women, so many girls, particularly the girls are affected by child trafficking, child labor. Still it happens, not only in India. So every country is responsible for that. So in that way, in the pedagogy method, teaching methodology, the teacher has to take some concern to bring gender equality. We have to address, and it is our need, our right, our duty to bring gender equality through teaching. And except teachers, even the family, the mother and the father, parents, everyone is taking responsibility to bring equality in our society. Then very soon, not only sustainable development goals talks about equality and other things. Their aim is to reach gender equality 2030. So everyone must work hard. They should understand the meaning of why all the people are talking about equality. Equality means we have to identify the issues and challenges that we have to eradicate totally. So in that manner, every individual must take the responsibility, and we have to change our attitudes towards student community, even from the childhood. Every person, every parent must take care of the child while they are using language at home, while they are giving prizes or giving some kind of gift to the kids. We are segregating from the family level, and we are talking about how female has to act or how the child has to act, whether male baby or girl baby or something like that. That kind of the discriminative practices must eradicate from our family level. That is very important. So before us, the question is right, what we are going to do next. So every higher educational institution needs to put into a place a gender sensitive ecosystem with an institutional commitment at all levels, including senior staff, to gender mainstreaming the curriculum as well as in research. So this needs to be supported by regular assessment or monitoring and evaluation, but also the appropriate resources as well as giving visibility and legitimacy of the importance of gender. Because the institutions need to ensure that the sexism, particularly sexual harassment and gender-based violence, are prevented within or between staff and student group. So every institution must maintain gender-friendly and the women-friendly environment. Okay, now what is a gender inclusive in the workplace? So gender inclusive workplace means like committing the support or safety or acceptance, making the structural and the cultural changes among the society based on their commitment. So every employer must create a gender sensitive and a gender inclusive environment. Because why this the gender diversity or the gender equally treated the person must be in the workplace means like our particularly gender diversity, because this helps the person or institution to attract, to retain the talented female, because you know that more women to join the labor force around the world. So the gender diverse workforce provides the easier access to the resources, such as various sources of credit. Even the multiple sources of information also the women can avoid, like industry knowledge or decision making role, something like that. So here gender inclusion is very much important, an important concept that transcends mere equality. And it is the notion that all services and opportunities and establishment are open to all people, that male and female, like the stereotypes do not define the societal roles and expectations in the society. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Audible,
Yes,
ma'am.
madam. Audible.
Shall I take 5 more minutes?
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. No problem.
Yeah. So I want to conclude with some more input that how the institution or higher education institution has to create women-friendly workplace. Because every institution must have the true gender-sensitive organization, because every institution has more women, even on the top level or the lower level or in the middle level. So the institution has a female-friendly work environment that allows to grow as they are professionals without any uh, uh, kind of the challenges or issues the way they are working in the institution. So even the worldwide, most of the women are working, more than 60% of women are working in the labor force, but they are earning only even less than 16% comparing to men. So how to create a women-friendly workplace, or how the institution can keep best practices to maintain the gender-friendly environment means the employer can have or can arrange for the timely meetup of the employees in our institution, because this can help or create a women-friendly culture in our institution. Because nowadays the faculty members or lecturers or professors, they are not able to meet quarterly or once in a year. It is not at all possible. We can say minimum percentage of absence of the faculty members. It happens regularly, not only in the higher education, it is also in the corporate sector also. But in the private companies, they are very much strict with the attendance and other things, though can see the people 100%, but it is not so in the government sector. But it should be followed by the employer that they must have the meetup or meeting with the faculty members. I think it will be, it will bring the female work friendly environment. The another point is the employer can appoint more women leaders in the top level position or in the headship position or administrative role. Because even in the college level also, the controller of examination, IQAC director, and other kind of top level position or administrative role is there. There the women have started getting equal opportunity. Then automatically the level or the position of women, particularly in the leadership role, will increase. And every institution must have aim at having women leaders. That is also not only in the top level position, particularly in the middle level position, that will impart a sense of diversity from the top down approach. And the another point the employer can follow that sometimes the women don't feel comfortable discussing the situation or talking about something that is troubling them. So here the employer can build a platform where women can share their views, because if they highlight their issues as an employer, we have to suggest some ideas anonymously. It will reduce some kind of issues. Particularly now the UGC strictly advised every higher educational institution must constitute internal complaints committee as per the Sexual Harassment Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013. So it is necessity that every institution must constitute internal complaints committee to avoid all kinds of anti-sexual harassment at workplace. And to avoid all kinds of issues, it is very important that every institution or every sector must conduct awareness program, because sometimes it enacting a real life scenario is more impactful than sending an email to our employees. So we could organize a small play or a skit that highlights the discrimination or small issues what the women face in their workplace. Because even though that ICC committee constituted in many of the institution, but many women faculty or many women students are not to come forward to file a case or file a complaint against that person. So we have to create an awareness among the people that we are here to help you to eradicate all kinds of issues, that the employer must give assurance in different way. So through spreading the awareness among the people, it will be totally reduced. and any kind of misconduct or partial behavior against women should not be done in the institution. And we have to bring zero tolerance policy, because why I am highlighting these points, this may be taken for your gender auditing. And zero tolerance policy means like say any comments or remarks or any kinds of jokes that make women comfortable or they have no place in an institution. We have to make sure that we have a zero tolerance policy. And we have to provide an environment where women feel no hesitation to reporting any kind of harassment and other things. And every institution must take care of well-equipped restroom for women. That is because you know that women are physiologically different than men, which is why the institution must take their needs carefully into the consideration. For example, I would say that having a provision for sanitary napkins in the restroom, that would not just make a woman feel more comfortable, but also relaxed in situation of urgency. And the employer or the leader or HOD so can appreciate our women workforce or women employees. So make sure that you focus on the growth or strategies for the women in your institution, because some of the institutions are failed to use the skills and opinions of the women's employees. Even it happens in university level also, because they have taken some kind of advantage. How far the women can give the very good strategies or policies. So for the name check, the women can represent themselves in the committees, but they are not having the equal opportunities and appropriate, or they are not even the appreciated their efforts and other kind of things. So that may be taken into the account, employers to consider the women's the efforts and the skills and knowledge and intellectuals. And apart from that, even today, every institutions have biases when it comes to the leadership and different departments. For example, exclusively in the finance level or a registrar position or top level position, there are some, particularly in the finance department. Now in the central level minister, we could see Madam Shita, one finance minister, I forgot her name. So she is the woman now. So she has taken in the account usually than have men was the leader for the finance department. Even in the HR level also, most of the companies were appointed like women, because we have to make sure that we set the right standard by including the diversity and not making the decision based on the gender. And the institution or the employer must create the flexible work schedule for the women, because every woman, they have knowledge, intellectuals to work, and they can accomplish and they can reach the goals, and they are very much connected to the institution. So nothing mistake in that part. But like new mothers, they can work, would love to have options like working from home. In that case, not possible in the higher education institution. I'm talking about the corporate sector. Some freelancing would help the person, particularly women. This will reduce their workload, as well as they are still part of the corporate or companies or something like that. Likewise, maternity engagement also, that is done, and 100% institution, particularly in the higher education level, they are following that, and they are having that open house for women employees, and they are giving the chance and relevant inputs to using the recent developments about maternity benefits and other things. And apart from that, what I want to highlight here that women's safety measures we have to follow, because women are taking more intensive roles and demand greater devotion and time. It also means that that leaving the workplace like late at night times. But most of the time and all, I had experience in that we work for the NAC. In 2019, we had experienced that day and night we were working in the department. We didn't get any kind of excuse that we are women. So we are strongly, more than 100% we have accepted, we have done that. Still, more women are in the administrative role in our university. So that should be implemented at all levels, at all higher level educational institution, not only in the educational institution, it should be followed by every kind of formal and informal sectors, even corporate and other things. So finally, I want to conclude that one more thing the employer must concentrate to create a gender-friendly environment. And the very important point, particularly in gender auditing, if a woman in our institution is ever a victim of harassment, that should not be tolerated. And she will never the complete support just to make herself heard. So every institution must create anti-ragging committee, anti-harassment committees. That committees also must be formulated different policies to find out the culprit or the people, one who not supported or one who was the person behind this issue, and they should be punished. So when sexual harassment or any kind of harassment occurs against any female employee, the employer must take all necessary and reasonable steps as per the applicable rules and regulations given by Sexual Harassment Act 2013, Prevention, Prohibition and the Redressal Act. So behind this act, Madam Banwari Devi is there. Because of the Banwari Devi's case, because of his effort, we have now the favorism about the Anti-Sexual Harassment Committee and the laws. I think due to time issue, I'm not able to explain about Banwari's case and all. But the overview about what is gender and sex, why it is very important, where we are focusing, why the higher educational institution must constitute or these kind of the committees, and what are the points to be highlighted or what are the points can be taken to the gender auditing, and that should be monitor, evaluate and implement in our institution. So this is not only for the 2020 or 21, it should be followed the following years. And it should be the continuous process to everywhere. So with this point, I'm expecting each and everyone should go for a teamwork to bring gender equality. First, whatever we talk in our day-to-day life, that we have to bring in our society. And as a faculty, as a student, as a researcher, it is our duty that we have to promote gender neutral society. So here we are not dominating men, we are not dominating women. Everybody is equal before the society. So for the gender equality, to bring gender neutral society, everyone should work hard to bring gender equality, at least before 2030. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your excellent presentation. Shall I stop sharing, ma'am? Ma'am, shall I stop the presentation?
Any questions or queries or any reflections you can ask.
Dear participants, now it's your time. If you have any queries regarding the session, please, session is yours. Ma'am, actually, I have one query, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm audible. I'm audible. Madam.
I can hear you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, why is it important to take gender concerns into account in program design and implementation? Is it necessary to include this gender concerns in program, UG and PG program?
Yes, ma'am, definitely, because we have to adopt some kind of policies like gender concern means gender design or policies means directly we can't influence any policies. To raise gender awareness, gender sensitivity program, like for example, we can constitute legal aid clinic or internal complaints committee, anti-ragging committee, or the gender champion club. These are the committees and other units, centers we can develop through our curriculum, we can ask the students and we can ask the students to involve themselves to act what is actually gender, how to promote a gender sensitivity among the student community. We can ask the student involve themselves even in the practical life. So what the UGC is asking that directly you can't design, implementing or monitoring something like that. So providing training, creating awareness among the people, and sometimes even in the UG level also you can encourage the other department students can learn something about the gender sensitivity, or what is the difference between gender and law. Even there is some gender differences between gender and health also you can identify. You can identify gender expert and you can call the people from different discipline. Even now we are calling from biotechnology, microbiology department, environment management department. Students are coming and learning about what is feminism, what is student friendly environment, what is gender friendly environment. Based on that, we have created the curriculum with small credits, 2 credits or 4 credits. And automatically our students are going and learning what is the relevance between, for example, environmental management means what is the relevance between women and environment. There we can adopt the women policies. So that is there. So you can take some students from arts to science, science to arts, because the curriculum has to be constructed in that format. So gender focused design implementation curriculum must be framed. That is also is there. I think you are in the new criteria of NAC that you can find out that you have to justify how your syllabus talks about gender, employability, entrepreneurial skills, and the sustainability. I think these are the main important factors you have to justify for your each and every subject. So in this case, most of the science faculties are really they are blinking that how to fit the gender here. So there is some gender concern is there. Each and every department has to focus their syllabus with gender perspective. So we can take microbiology. So we have adopted some kind of method for teachers and students to involve the students to go for a blood test. So we found that through blood test, how many students and how many women faculties they were in the low level of anemic or the hemoglobin level and other thing. So automatically the microbiology faculty members written the proposal with regard to women and health. Particularly, they have concentrated why anemia cases increases, particularly in the adolescent group. So they have asked some co-investigator help from the social science background. So we can connect gender or women or children in different discipline. So the way in which we understood the concept, that is very important. So directly we can't influence any the policies or something like that. We have to frame the policies, designs or something like that in an indirect manner that should reflect to the society in a direct way by the way of resulting of awareness raising or something like that.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your detailed explanation. Thank you so much, ma'am. Actually, as you said, we already have this anti-ragging cell, internal complaints, and everything is there in our college. We are in this process. We are doing all the awareness activities through that.
Yeah. Yeah, one more question I can see in this chat box. Can you suggest some ways and means to implement and develop gender equity at home so that the next generation can understand it very well? Yes, of course, as a parent, as a human being, it is our role that we have to use the language while treating the child, while male or female. While using the language as a parent, we should be very careful. Don't treat the child that you are a girl, you are a boy, you should be like that, you should be like that. So we have to give freedom, even more than 100% freedom to act what they expect actually. Because sometimes in some places, the people are taking disadvantage and they are going or deviating different way. That is also is there. Yeah, some kind of distraction I'm having. So that we have to start from our family, because we are in the socialization process, we will be acting in a different way like at home. our attitude will be in a different way at workplace. So we are acting like in the 2-way or 3-way. This is the way we are doing it nowadays. But whatever the changes we are talking about, what we are expecting in the society, it is not the easy thing, and we are not able to bring the changes overnight. So these kind of changes, what you have exactly asking the question is, we have to bring for the kids, particularly for the children, very much important that we have to start from the family. So the parents must be sensitized. That is also is there. So there are a lot of textbook and other books are available even in the website. The parent has to listen what the child is talking. So the parent's role is much important to create a gender sensitivity, particularly at home. Because the deviations are there. There are some social medias influencing, definitely raising their mind, and they are not able to talk much with their parents. Nowadays, a very big challenge and mental health challenges the parents as well as the teachers are facing. So it is a very important role. The parent has to deal the child even at home. So now we can say more than 8 hours they are staying at a school. Then even the remaining 1 hour, 2 hours they are coming. By the time we are sending the children for the extracurricular activities or tuition or something like that. So spending of the time with the children also very much low. So knowingly or unknowingly, they are taking the information from their peer groups. That is also is there. And they will not accept your point. No, this was getting from my friend circle. This I have learned from a teacher. This my teacher was taught to me. And this I have learned from my friend's mother. Something like that the children are saying. So we have to take much effort to convince them what is the reality actually. But this will take much time, but everyone has to take much move to bring gender equality. So we should be very careful to go for a single move, even at the family level. Even most of the parents are worried about that. Even they are scolding means what the child will do the next thing. Because now they are all very much sensitive. They are not using their mind what actually will happen in future. They are not listening the words of their elders. So that is also is there. So this is a very big challenge. Nowadays, not only for the teachers, as a parent also, they must take care of the children, and they should learn how to give ideas and how to advise the kids in the family. Because most of the parents, they are trying to avoid the issues, or anything should not happen to my family. So I can do anything for my child. So what the child is learning, okay, anything we can get it. If we are Raman or we are not answering for this question, it's automatically parents will say something for us. So this kind of mindset also the students are having, or kids. There are some sociological and environmental factors also supporting nowadays. So it is a big journey that we have to take a minimum step to eradicate all the issues, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable points. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the valuable things must be done. Let me call upon S. Gayatri of First Beacon A to deliver the vote of thanks.
Actually, I want to record my sincere thanks to the correspondent again, Dr. Ramar, the principal of Congo Arts and Science College, and the organizing committee members. And particularly, I should record my special thanks to the students, one who delivered the welcome address and one who is going to propose vote of thanks. Thank you, students. You have to improve yourself not only in this level, in different spheres. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
Gratitude is the fairest blossom that everyone could offer. First of all, I wish to dedicate my deep thanks to the management for providing us various opportunities to groom ourselves. I extend my sincere thanks to our honorable correspondent, Thiru K. Palanisamy sir, for his constant support. Thank you, sir. I express my profound thanks to our respectable principal, Dr. N. Raman sir, for his ceaseless guidance. Thank you, sir. A wholehearted thanks to our most esteemed and reverend chief guest, Dr. N. Murugeshwari, for inculcating innovative ideas and methods in teaching. Thank you, ma'am. My heartfelt thanks to our eminent head of the department, Dr. K.M. Muruguru sir, for being a moral support. Thank you, sir. I thank heads of various departments and faculty members for their enduring hard work to make the occasion a grateful one. My special thanks to all participants for their active listening. My sincere thanks to technical team for the timely help and the assistance. Once again, thank you all.
Dear participants, the feedback link is posted in chat box. Kindly submit it. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your valuable time shared with us. Thanks a lot.
Ma'am, shall I move, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.